I'm Teresa Matic with the Investing News Network. Here with me today is Mickey Fulp, the Mercenary Geologist. Thank you for joining me, Mickey.
Hey, thanks, Teresa. Always my pleasure.
Great. So we're here today to talk about the attempted military coup in Turkey. What effects do you think that's had on the mining industry in the country?
Well, certainly it will affect the mining industry because it adds a bit of geopolitical risk that we weren't quite cognizant of in Turkey before. It has a history of coups, 2 or 3 in the 60s and 70s. I think 2 succeeded and 1 failed, if memory serves. But we haven't seen this sort of thing happen in a NATO country before, even with the Arab Spring. So this is of a concern to any company involved in Turkey.
And what do you think the significance is of it being the first time that a NATO country has experienced a military coup in quite some time?
Well, it's a member of NATO. It's kind of a little bit different than most members of NATO in the fact that it's mainly a Muslim society. It borders partly in Europe, partly in Asia. From that point of view, it does affect NATO. Personally, I'm not a really big proponent of NATO. I think it's served its day in the Soviet era, but since then, as an American, we fund it to the benefit of Europeans. I don't think we get a lot of bang for our buck there, if you will.
Okay. And you briefly mentioned, so how do you think this is going to affect investor sentiment for foreign companies operating in Turkey, mining companies?
Well, certainly it's going to knock those companies down a bit. No one likes geopolitical risk. In the boom years from, say, 2003 to 2013, we saw a lot of geopolitical risk affect markets, resource nationalism. I think you have to add Turkey to that equation now.
Okay, and speaking of the geopolitical risk, gold didn't really react to this event. So why do you think that is?
Well, I think gold, as you and I talked on Friday, as we were coming back from the Yukon, I think that we expected the coup, if it succeeded, for gold to react to the positive side on Monday. It didn't. It knocked gold down a bit. So we'll have to see how this plays out. I don't think it's over in Turkey. You have, in what I view a fascist regime, which borders on Islamic fundamentalism. And you have a whole nother part of Turkish society, a lot of educated people who want Turkey to become more secular. And so we've seen this play out in many Muslim countries over the last few years, and it's not over in Turkey.
Okay, interesting. And how well endowed is the country in terms of mineral deposits?
Oh, significantly endowed. Major world-class gold deposits, copper deposits of various geologic environments, a very nice uranium deposit in the central part of the country. So it sits on a plate boundary. That's why they have big earthquakes over there every once in a while. And we all know as good geologists that those plate boundaries are where world-class mineral deposits are formed. So very strongly endowed in terms of mineral deposits.
Okay. And with that in mind, what should investors watch for going forward when it comes to?
I think you just got to watch for additional geopolitical risk, how this is going to play out. I own a uranium company that has a very robust ISR in situ recovery uranium deposit in the country. It's
Which company is that?
That's Uranium Resources Inc., listed on the NASDAQ, and so it's of concern to me at this point.
Okay. Thank you for joining me, Mickey.
Hey, thanks, Teresa.
I'm Teresa Matic with the Investing News Network.